Welcome to today's Q&A. I am Rodrigua Ross
and I am Keith Vinson.
And we are with the Causenetic podcast powered by the Dallas Y in the United States. And you all are in for a treat today. Today during our Q&A session, we have none other than Carlos Sanvee, the Secretary General of the World Alliance of YMCAs. He is from Togo. He became the General Secretary in 2019 in Chiang Mai. We had Patricia Pelton on yesterday. So this is an amazing way to do day two of Q&A.
Yes.
Welcome to the Q&A session, Mr. Sanvee.
I feel like we got royalty in front of us.
I do.
We had to come all the way around the world just to meet the great
Just to
one.
meet the great.
I would tell you in the States, like, you are like revered across the board. And so I am honored to be here with you today.
Yes.
And then just chatting with him just a little bit. Physics and chemistry major. My son is a chemistry major, and I know how smart he is. He's the smartest one in our house, at least.
I'm sure he is.
Like, chemistry and physics and YMCA, how does that all even go together?
You know, that it's just a way of looking at things. And for me, I have a different way of solving problems.
Nice.
So it's the configuration of the brain, but it has nothing to do, completely nothing to do, because when I was at university, I joined the YMCA.
Okay.
And I have the opportunity to go to the YMCA and think, okay, if I want to continue this path, I need something else. So that's why I went and do sociology. So my YMCA background, now I will say I use the sociology. So to understand society, how society works, how people behave the way they behave, and also with my physical background to help to solve the problem. So combination of the two, I think helps, sometimes contradicts, but so you have to deal with that.
Oh, that is excellent. That
Nice,
I love that you're saying that you had already gone to university, but you knew for your career and what you wanted to do for the movement, you needed more, and you went and got that. So how did you start in the YMCA?
Well, I started a long time ago, it's at least 35 years back.
Okay.
I joined a local group of YMCA in my church. And what we were doing is a very cultural activity, singing, playing, dancing, and meeting other young people. Then there was a phenomenon that we observed, to say some of our friends coming to that group were not from the city we were. They come from the rural area, coming to Lomé, the capital. And one day, one of them did not come to the activity, so as a group of young people, we went to visit him. And we realized that he had no home. Where we were living was, so what is this? Then we start understanding that many of those young people will come from rural area to the city, look for a better opportunity, and they have to struggle, and no one knows. They'll come to church, we'll play, we'll do things together, but they'll go and live in shacks and many situations like that. That's what gave me, and I'm not the only one, a group of us to say we need to do something about it. We should not let it go like that. So that's the beginning of my commitment to my engagement with YMCA.
So when you talk about what you got in terms of a degree and learning how to solve problems, that teaches how to solve problems, translating that over to the YMCA, what are kind of these big problem solutions that you have seen over your time in the Y?
Just to continue with the same, we find a problem. Now this is the problem. Young people are coming to the city looking for a green pasture, but they don't find it. But they couldn't go back. Because if you go back, you're like you fail, you're a failure. And they don't want to lose faith. So they prefer to struggle, to hustle, than to go back. How do we solve that problem? Then we start talking to say, to clarify, identify the problem. What is the nature of that problem? Problem is that there's a lack of opportunity for those people in the rural area, and they were looking for more opportunity, but the image that was projected to them was not the right image. And then there is a big disillusion, but they could not go back. Why? Because of pride, because of people will not understand them. So do we correct either they have opportunity in the city or where they come from, we create opportunity in the rural area. So by analyzing the mechanisms that create that problem, we agreed at that time as young people to say, to stop this problem, we need to go to the source. So that's physics or chemistry. This is how you solve it. You go to the source of the problem. And the source of the problem is on the rural area. We need to start doing something in the rural area to keep the young people done. That was the first training center that the YMCA in my country, Togo, created in the rural area in terms of agriculture, in terms of many other opportunities for young people to stay because we wanted to go to the source. So we split the problem into small pieces and then we say, okay, let's go to the source of it and try to fix the problem there. But it's not a formula. It's human being. By the time you fix that problem, there are new parameters that it didn't work normally the way if it is on the lab, you know that you add the 2 molecules of this, you'll get this. But with the human being, it doesn't work like that. And that was a big lesson for me to say, human being is not a physical or chemistry formula. It's a human being.
Man, we're here today with Carlos Sanvee. He is dropping straight knowledge today, right now. You guys are listening from all over the world. Join us in the chat room. Chat it up in there, blow it up. Drop into the chat where you're listening to from, where you're looking at from. But also, we want to take questions. You guys are hearing what he's saying right now in terms of solving problems and how to solve problems. And we want to be able to make sure that we leave some of this knowledge with you all from him. So ask your right questions, and we have Carlos to answer that. We'll pop it up here on our screen so that we can do that. This is a fantastic conversation right here. And we talk about, you said that pride. How did you guys make sure that people felt that they weren't losing themselves in the process? They got the pride, coming in and didn't want to go back. But as you guys took them in, how did you make sure that they were comforted and feel their self-worth, was valuable also?
Today, I can make up this story, but it didn't happen like that. It was not a linear process. It's like this, it's in all the sense. But for me, the turning point was when we organized a work camp. In the holiday we have camp. It's not like in the US or something like that. Because we want to solve the problem of young people, we'll bring all the young people to the place. It was 2 weeks. We'll come together from the whole country and we say, okay, we want to build a classroom. So young people will come and we'll negotiate to have a bag of cement, sand, and we learn how to make a brick, and then we put, and then we have people who are bricklayer, they are carpenters, and together we will learn to build a classroom. I can build a classroom today. I can make a roof. I'm not a carpenter, but I'm learning at the YMCA. So when we come together, you have in this group people who are in university like I was, those young people who are the farmers, you have all type of things. Now, imagine rural Togo in the 70s. We will sleep bare floor in the same room where you have people who are doing different type of studies, and we all come together. And then we notice that when it comes to working, when it comes to resilience, the people that we thought are more vulnerable from the rural area, they can adapt so quickly. Us from the city, we were like fly. We will fall down in anything. They were so resistant. Then we say, so what is the problem? Why do you think you are inferior? Because you live in the rural area, we live in the city. You are not inferior. You have so many things. Come rain, come sunshine, those guys can do anything. We from the time we are just there. We are like.
There you go. Yes, sir.
That builds the confidence on those guys to say, there's something we have, and also we have something we have. But when we come together, we put it together, we build the school, we build a dam, we build so many things.
Yeah.
Just by learning to do together. And today, many of my friends, they have not put their feet in the school, never. But they are the
Yeah.
best friends I have because the knowledge those guys have
Yeah.
is not something you get from a textbook.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But the school system does not allow us to put a value on that knowledge.
Right.
And my YMCA in Togo, this is what we put the value on. And this is also part of something I learned to say, textbook does not necessarily give
Right.
us the knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how
sir.
we,
It's
in our
life.
YMCA,
Yes, sir.
we managed
Yeah,
to do this.
that's
sir.
good. That's good. So those lessons that you learn and really appreciating what everyone brings to the table, even though they have different experiences. When you got in a role in 2019, and like Keith said, we were so elated and so excited when you got appointed in 2019 in Chiang Mai. But then a pandemic hit, right? And so most of your time as the Secretary General has been during a pandemic. How has that been for you, knowing all the things you wanted to do and the things you wanted to accomplish, and you being the face of the World Council, right? During a pandemic.
Yeah, it took all by surprise. First,
Yeah.
we went through a denial. We thought,
Yeah.
this is coming from China, it's going to be stopped. Then it took the world by surprise.
Yeah.
Then we need to face it. And then every day you see things come and ask myself, why? Why this is happening? I thought I'm Secretary General, I have to do things. I'm a faith person. So I have one of our leaders from South Africa, Caesar, he was the president of World YMCA. I called him, I say, Chief, why? Why God allowed this to happen? When I'm a Secretary General, I want to do things.
Yeah.
And he said, Carlos, you are not asking the right question.
Oh.
The question is not why. But he said, what now? Now that this is happening, one question is, what am I going to do with it?
Wow.
Okay. I went to complain, and I came back with a challenge to say, you need to do something
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So that's changed the perspective to say, I don't want to put myself in the victim shoes,
Yeah.
but as someone who need to solve a problem.
That's
So what
good.
is the problem
Yeah.
we want to solve?
Yeah.
The first things we learned through COVID is social distancing. Social distancing is opposite to what we teach at the YMCA.
Yes.
YMCA, we are community.
Come together.
So why
Yes.
do we, so I refuse to use the word social distance. I say physical distance. I was talking about physical distance rather than social distance.
That's good.
And I say, when the world is socially distancing, let's come together. That's how we say the global community need to come together. We cannot meet physically, but we can meet online. That's how things started.
Yeah.
Through a challenge that was posed to me, and I started to respond. But I have a great board. I have a great colleague. I have our executive committee. They are like that. So people will say, how did you do it? I did not. We did it together.
Together.
We did it together. I was just there to say, okay, who is there? But we did it together.
That's excellent.
We are here learning how to solve problems, taking on, and we have people joining us from all over the world. Hello to those out there from Mexico City, Hong Kong, Paris, Japan, England, even Australia, many, many more places all over the place.
And of course from your homeland,
Yeah.
Togo.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So we got Elaine Douglas. As we talk a lot about the challenges of the pandemic, but what has the YMCA gained from the pandemic that will help the future generation in building a resilient YMCA? How have you been able to reconsider your strategy to adapt a new challenge for the world?
That's a great question.
That's a great
That's
question.
a good question.
Yeah.
We are not yet out of the pandemic.
Right.
We are
Right.
still in.
Yeah.
But so far, from where I sit, the lesson that I can say we learned through the pandemic, there are a few. One of the most important is how equal we are in face of adversity.
Yeah. That's good.
This pandemic did something great. The top, the big, we all equal.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're all scared
Yeah.
of these small things we cannot see. You know, when we look at the USA from where we sit, it's a big country. Everything is there, it's a developed country, but we say they were more vulnerable to the pandemic than Togo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is this? So at the end, we discover that we are one. We are common. When it comes to challenge, we need to face it. This is one of the lessons. The second one is who help us in terms of how we get out of this. Grocery store, the nurse, the cleaner. Those people in the society, we always put aside to say they are the low skills people.
Yeah.
People don't have skill, they don't have the degree, they don't have anything. These are the ones who kept the world going.
Yes.
But these are exactly the same people YMCA we welcome. There's people we promote. So for the YMCA is that we have a business. Whatever happens, we will continue to be in business.
Yes.
And any pandemic that will happen after the shock, when we come together, collectively, we think together, we'll always find we'll find a way to solve those problems.
Yes, sir.
We are in the people's business, and whatever is happening to people, we are in business.
Yes.
And that for me is a good lesson.
That's a great point. The folks who we thought the least of, they were the ones that helped save us
and we
helped
gotta
make
remember
it through.
that even now, though. It's like,
that's good.
We can't just, everything's going back to normal, like put that group aside.
No.
We got to still uplift that group right there.
Yeah. So we have Alvin and Misaki, who were a part of the first cohort of change agents in Hong Kong with the Hong Kong and Tokyo YMCAs. And they still remember having a selfie with you in Thailand 4 years ago. And they want to know, what would you expect from the new generation or that fifth cohort of change agents?
That's music to my ears. So tomorrow in the engagement panel, we're going to launch the fifth cohort.
Yeah.
We are still building it, but I want to change the content of the program based on what we are doing through the strategy we adopted yesterday, Vision 2030.
Yeah.
I want the change agent to be problem solver.
Oh, okay.
So currently at the World Council, we are going through something we call collaborative laboratory. There's a collab. And we are taking the participants through this design process to say, this is the problem, how do we identify, how do we solve, but collectively. It's not just me, a scientist in my laboratory, trying to find the solution, but we do it collectively. If this works, I want us to find a way to transfer that into, this is how we're going to train our young people, our change agents, so that if they are in the community, they identify the problem, they mobilize the peer, they solve the problem, they come with the youth solution.
Yeah.
Don't want to go and put new things on their brain to say, this is how you lead the YMCA. No, this is how you identify problems, this is how you solve the problem, and this is how you come with the solution. So this is what we want to try, but it depends on whatever come out of this meeting this week. Yeah.
That sounds exciting. I know as a part of the Vision 2030, we were talking with Patricia Pelton yesterday, the one of the principles around radical collaboration, right? And how do you problem solve and work together to get to new solutions? That's going to be good stuff. That's going to be exciting.
Well, you talk about change agents. I mean, we've been talking about throughout this whole experience about our young people. So we got a team from Canada with a question. What is that one change you hope to see the YMCA as we aim at becoming a greener, a more climate-friendly movement? What is that? What do you see there for those young people as it relates to that climate control?
In 4 years from now, I would like any young person in any YMCA from the 12,000 community to come to the realization that they are part of a bigger entity.
Yeah.
They might be in this particular city, but they are part of something that's bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
And that we are interconnected.
Yeah.
We saw it through COVID. That's something that's very far away from many people. It came very quickly. We are all affected.
Yeah.
The same way, if it is positive, it's going to go on the reverse order to bring the change. So to say the change you want to bring in your community can affect positively other people in other communities.
Yeah.
How we are interconnected is very important.
Yeah.
We don't continue to live in silos. we don't continue to look on our own. We are part of the global family, a global community, interconnected, and we need to behave as it is.
Yeah.
That's what is the core of our YMCA mission.
Yeah.
And for me, the change agent need to realize that I can be a change agent in Texas, I can be a change agent in Kuala Lumpur, I can be whatever. I have my correspondents in others, and when we come together, technology allows us now to come together. We could find a way to solve those problems. And yes, we have the 4 pillars we talk about. It's about well-being.
Yep.
We can solve it together. You cannot be on your well-being in your bubble.
Right. You need
Because when you
others.
come out of it, you are faced with something.
Yeah.
You come about the future of work. Now you cannot be your own employer. You need people. We need to come together. We talk about a sustainable planet. It's very challenging. If we don't solve that problem, we will be. But who is going to solve? The young people. But in the YMCA, we are saying the young people are not there just to protest. They need to do something about it.
Yeah.
And we have seen young people in this organization who are doing something about it, and we want to promote it. And when it comes to a just world, the young people want more justice, more equity, more diversity to make it happen.
Yeah.
Young people need to lead the way, and we are here to hold this space for them to do it.
Yeah,
Do
I'm
something.
excited. They're
Do
going to come up with the
something.
solutions
Yeah.
for the world that they're going to inherit.
Yeah.
So Dominic asks us to ask you, have you ever experienced this phenomenon called the glass ceiling, right? Where you hit this barrier as you're trying to move up and you didn't even realize it was there, but for some reason you can't progress, right? Whether it's someone's bias or someone believing something you can't do or something like that. And if you have, what advice do you have for young people as they try to break through those glass ceilings?
There are many glass ceilings you feel, but something I learned in the YMCA is the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit. So when you face that, just tell yourself, no, this is not going to stop me.
Right.
This is not going to stop me because for me, the sky is the limit. I could go as much as I can, and I will never stop going.
Yeah.
So yes, you'll face those ceilings, you'll face those bottlenecks, you'll face them. But what makes us different from other people is that you don't just stop.
Yeah.
You don't just stop. We're learning from babies, we're learning from toddlers. When they want to try to walk, they stand up and they fall down. Some of them will be there crying. Don't be like them. Try again.
Don't be like them.
Try. Then
Try
you start
again.
walking.
Yeah.
Then you start walking, then start running. That's how it's life.
Yeah.
We need to face it. Insist, as African, I face a lot of institutional racism.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to just sit there and complain, I won't be where I am. I have to face that.
That's right.
And sometimes you need to take the bull by the horn. But it's so important, you have a community that supports you.
Yeah.
Because alone you cannot do it. That's
Yeah.
why I think Patricia Pelton talked about radical collaboration. When we reach that level, you know that you have a support, then you can be on the bull. You can fall down, but someone will put you back on that bull until
Yeah.
the bull is down. So
That's right.
that's how you need to be.
Yeah, get you some people, right?
Yeah.
Get your people. Yeah. So Ixel from Mexico says that she has been a volunteer with the YMCA since she was 14, and now she is almost 40. Right? Good for you, Ixel. So her question is, YMCA 2030 vision requires not only a global consensus and coordinated effort, it also requires strong national movements. So how can we build a strong and participatory, right? Because that's key, governance in such difficult times. Getting those governance volunteers to really participate and hands-on and help lead the YMCA to its future.
Again, great question, Estelle. Thank you. And thank you
good.
for your commitment to the YMCA.
Yes.
It's so
14
important that we
employees.
have people committed to this collective vision that we try to put forward. I need to accept and be frank that in many of our YMCA, we have a governance problem.
Yeah.
I met with people here in this World Council. They are a board chair for 20 years. They are not moving. And they are CEO for 50 years. They are people who does not move. That's not a good governance.
Yeah.
is not a good governance. We need to find a way to change and to enhance our system. But when people are comfortable in their position, they only change when there are people who challenge them. So who is going to challenge them? Young people. But we also learn in the YMCA that when there is a power, and you go and confront the power can crush you. That's happening with a lot of young people, and they get discouraged and they leave the YMCA. Don't go frontal. So those change agents we are talking about, this is what they learn about how to deal with power. How to deal with power. This is one of the competencies young people need to do, how to deal with power. How to make sure that your voice is audible. Because when you are making noise, no one knows what you are screaming about. But how can you make your voice audible for people to listen to you?
That's good.
And then you can demand a response, a positive response from the people. That's part of the training we need to give the young people. And it's part of what we will do through the 5th cohort of change agents. I know many YMCA are doing that already. I know it's happening. But we need to be clear that we need good governance. We need discipline. We need discipline, because without discipline, we cannot reach where we want to do.
I love that. Don't just make noise, be audible, right?
And then we got to get our leaders in a place that be able to take some of these young people up under their wings and groom them for that next level. If the people who sit in the chairs 20, 30, 40, 50 years, not that we got to push them out, but our young people come together in such a way that we're going to influence the situation. Is that a better way?
Influence the situation.
I mean, because they can come together with a big voice, and they're not just talking about, just like you said, just da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, we're coming with solutions in there, and we're going to challenge what's in the room. And we're going to make sure, as young people, we're going to make sure that the voice is in the room. When I said young people,
no, you're not. Nope.
Oh, you're not?
No, he's not a young people.
So what do you talk about me?
No, you're a young people. See? Carlos is a young people. He's not a young people.
No, sometimes I feel like a dinosaur when I was.
No, never that. So we have another question. Agbemado in Africa. Hello. He wants to be a better ally to support women in leadership roles. And how can we all be better at understanding and supporting successful female leaders? I appreciate that question.
That's very great. Yesterday we have an election on the officers.
Yes.
I have 2 female leaders.
2 female bosses.
Which is great.
Which is great.
Which is great. So it's happening. It's happening. We need to be intentional about it. We need to be intentional about it. I have 3 daughters myself. I have 3 daughters and 1 son. I never considered my daughter to be inferior to the son. They receive the same education, they have the same opportunity, we push them to the same limits, etc. And there's the same thing we are doing in the YMCA to say we are gifted differently. But we approach things differently. We need to create this opportunity. We come from a system, that is an institutional system that puts people into different categories. You are black, you are white, you are female, you are this. Yes, it may be possible. But when it comes to taking opportunities, we are the same. In my culture in Togo, for a long time, we don't eat with knife and fork, we eat with our fingers. And then they say, do you have different fingers, different size, different things? But to take things, they come together. They are equalized at this level. If they are like this, they cannot take the food. They need to be like this. So, and the nature makes sure that there is a mechanism for them to come equalized. This is what we need to do in the YMCA. Whoever you are, you can be this. But when we come together, before you have the force to take something to eat, so that is the principle I need to apply, and we need to apply all over.
I love that. That's good. They come together. Yes, I love that.
So Eugene from Cameroon, he has a question. He says, could you outline your basic expectations for Vision 2030? And the follow-up question to that would be also, what do you fear when looking at the future of the YMCA?
Bonjour Eugène, comment ça va? Cameroon, they speak French.
Okay, I'm going to trust what you said.
My expectation of Vision 2030, my expectation is on the movement. Vision 2030 is a direction. It's a direction. How we look at that direction, how we follow it, it's up to individual.
Yeah.
But my hope is that we dare, sometimes we call it North Star. We're not using North Star because people say, in our place we don't see the North Star, we see the South Star. Whichever star you see,
whichever star.
Yeah, it's a star. But we need to dare to look at it. Yeah. Because when you are in the desert or you are on the sea and you don't know your direction, you see and then you follow. So we can be in a different place of the globe. When you see the same thing, we rally to that point. That would be my biggest frustration. Dare to look up, to say the world is bigger than where I am in my local and my national things. Look at it. The world is going to the direction, a lot of disruption, a lot of problems happening, but we have the opportunity here to come together to solve those problems. That will be my expectation. Yeah. I lost the second question.
Yeah,
the
so
fear.
The fear for the future of the YMCA.
The future, I use a lot of symbol. I love a lot of analogy.
I love it. I love it.
This is how I raise, and we were educated, not the textbook, we were educated with using nature.
Yeah.
So there is a story that this guy have you call it a pork, or when is the animal, the live animal, is it a pig?
The pig.
A pig,
yeah.
yes. They went and wash the pig very well, and then come put it on the living room. After some time, the pig went back and go to the mud. Because it's in the nature of the pig to be in the mud.
To be in the mud, yeah.
So, I just want us not to go back to our mud.
Yeah.
We need to find something different.
That's
we
a
don't
great
go back.
story. That's a great analogy, yes.
We don't go back to what we used to do before. There's something else we can do.
Yeah.
We need to remove that part of us that's always pushed us to the mud, because the world will not deal with us anymore. We will not be influential. Ban Ki-moon yesterday in his keynote told us, in the past, when there was a lot of social problem and things like that, YMCA was a place people would go.
Yeah.
Now there are many people who are doing that thing, so we need a differentiating factor. What makes YMCA different than other people? We need to find it. So my biggest fear is that, we adopt a strategy, and then we put it behind, and we continue business as usual.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, I love that dare to look up, right? Like you got to dare to look at the star to see where the direction is. Oh, that is good. I'm going to use that story again. I'm going to give you credit, though. I'm going to use that story.
Right. So give credit one time, but the second time, I got to take it on. So you enter into your second term?
Yes.
And so what does that look like for you? I mean, what do you hope to accomplish in this second term?
First, I want to go one day at a time.
Yeah.
But the plan is to continue to look at this time, to be able to feel the pulse of the movement. Because you could be a leader of an organization. If you don't feel what the organization is talking about, you will lose it completely.
Yeah.
You'll be doing your own thing.
Yeah.
But to be able to feel the pulse of the movement, to continue to listen to what the movement is doing, make sure that we leave no one behind. That, for me, is so important, that everybody on his own pace, but to make sure that those who can run fast, you run fast, but those who run not fast, they're also part of the same running. So for me, that is my priority, make sure that we continue to journey together, different pace, but we journey together.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Di from Australia says, thank you for never giving up, Carlos.
Yes.
And for allowing the sky to be the limit, daring, right, to look at the stars. And says it's a beautiful thing. Misaki in Japan asks, what would you like to achieve and see in your next term? That day-to-day, right?
Yeah, you got the day-to-day that's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, so we are coming out in the pandemic right now. Our hope is that at the end of 4 years, I mean, and you talked a lot about kind of that fear, some of your fears in the YMCA. Like, what is it that, what has taught us in this pandemic of what we just need to stop doing? And so in 4 years, things look so much different.
Yeah. you know, you need to start from myself, from everybody, but for myself is not to be driven by fear. Because there are many times I'm driven by fear, and when I respond to this fear, I get it wrong.
Yep.
Got it wrong. I can tell you for this conference, there's a lot of fear around. But if I'm driven by those fear, I won't do anything. I'll be paralyzed.
Yeah. Yep.
But to be driven by opportunity, there's so many opportunities. What is the opportunity? Because the fear not make us move. So it's a lot of work on myself, on my individual, which I'm inviting other colleagues to do, to try to lower the voice of the fear.
Yeah.
And to be able to allow the voice of opportunity to come up so that I can see that you will make me.
Yeah.
That for me is key. You cannot change the world if you don't change yourself.
Right. Absolutely. Starts with you. So I know, at least for my parents, the one thing that the pandemic did for most people was really help them to focus in on the things that are really important. And for many people, that meant reconnecting with family and fortifying relationships. And so I know you have this granddaughter, right?
Ah, okay.
Your granddaughter,
so you
right?
did your homework
So
on me.
I want to know, if you're anything like my parents, are you the same grandfather as father? Because my parents let my kids get away with everything. Are you that kind of grandfather? You just spoil the baby.
What is the definition of a grandfather?
Spoiled baby. That's the definition.
Spoiler is what that is. Sometimes I look at my parents, I'm like, who are you? Like, I could have never got away with that. So did you found like you spending time with your family and you're really reconnecting and you just, that relationship is just fortified now?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. But let's talk about my granddaughter. They used to visit time to time. And by the way, during the pandemic, something that made us well is that we always come together.
Yes.
At least once every 2 weeks, we make sure that we pause and we come together and share a meal, do things. That energy, that social distancing things.
Yeah.
We protect ourselves, but we come together. We love and we do things. It's important.
Yeah.
And during that pandemic, my granddaughter grew up.
Yeah.
And for her, she know that the grandparents are the safe haven.
Yes.
This is a place they can. And in this world, we all need this type of place
Yes.
where you could feel that, okay,
Yeah.
I can be anything. But someone needs to listen, not to judge me, but then I can open up, and later on they will find a way to do. But when you go, then they will not come to you. So it's that relationship. And also, there are things when you have your own child. I see my son, the way he's relating to the child, I say, he's just repeating what I did with them.
Yeah.
He's just repeating the same thing they saw for a
Yep.
while. But now, with time, we know that it could be different.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of collaboration.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so
and we
nice.
tell, maybe your parents should tell you, it's not just your kids. It's not you. You are just a conduit. It's
all of our
yes.
kids. I know that's right. I'm going to help them remember that when I want to send them to stay with them for the summer. Like, it's all of our kids.
Yeah,
You should
yeah.
take them for the summer. Yes, that's excellent. I love that.
That's cool.
The kids having, it's a safe place,
Yeah.
right? You could come to
safe
your
haven.
grandparents. That is so true. My kids have conversations and tell my parents stuff, and then they ask me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know. They didn't even
Yeah.
tell me. They went
won't
straight
tell you.
to the grandparents. That's
But by the way,
excellent.
this is what YMCA is for many
Yes.
people.
Right.
Yes.
Because there are many people who don't have grandparents. There
That's
are many
right.
people who don't have this parent. Where they go?
To
When
the
they come to the YMCA, that's why my appeal to YMCA staff
Yeah.
and volunteer, make sure that the young people, the kids come to the YMCA, feel this safe place, safe
Yeah.
haven when they could come
Oh,
and
that's good.
download and be able to be carry forward.
Oh, I love that. That's excellent.
So
Excellent.
Emily from Australia, she has a question centered around the governance piece.
Okay.
So we talked about change makers earlier and being involved. What's advice would you have for young people in learning about governance as they're entering their career to the YMCA?
Yeah. Great question, Emily. Today, to learn, there are so many opportunities to learn.
Yeah.
There's too many opportunities. Just have a phone and you find the thing. But that's not we learn by making mistakes.
Yeah.
We learn more by making mistakes. And if you don't want to make mistakes, you won't learn.
Right.
So my advice, just throw yourself into the pool.
Fail forward.
You will find a way because I can give you all the good definition of the governance. I can give you all the practice, etc. Right. But if I don't have a good will, I won't do it. If I don't have a good will, I won't do it. So how do we make people have a good will? I can put a gun on you. If you don't want to do it, you don't do it. The knowledge is there.
Yeah.
The knowledge is there. So what is missing, what we lack is the mindset of making something different and be able to journey with the people where they are and to go gradually into it. Yeah. So yes, again, when we share our knowledge, when we share our expectations, this is where we learn from each other. Yeah. But there are a lot of things to learn about good governance, etc. Now, we have a different world. The Northern Hemisphere have different standards than Southern Hemisphere. Their standard. The challenge for us is we are trying to apply the same standard for different people.
Yeah.
It won't work.
Right.
So it's about when you learn things, when you see those things, how do you adapt it to your reality?
Yeah.
That worked for you.
Yeah.
For me, Emily, that's quite important, the adaptation to the reality, to make it work to your reality.
Yeah. And one last question real quick. Mongadi asks, how can African young people identify role models who look like them, right, and help them in their personal development?
Mongadi, I'm trying to think about how do I answer that question. I think, let me put it upside down. Try to be a role model for someone else.
Okay.
What
would you do?
Want.
Right. What would you? Yeah.
I love that.
That's
I
good.
love that right there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing.
Amazing.
This has been so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Carlos.
Thank you for this time.
Yes. Thank you to everyone.
I think we
who's
need your
giving
autograph
questions.
before
I'll
we
definitely
leave.
give an autograph.
I need your autograph.
YMCA royalty right here.
Right.
This has been an amazing time.
Yeah.
Thank you guys online for joining in this session right here with my man Carlos Sanvee.
Yes.
Incredible leader for us throughout our YMCA movement.
Yes.
And we appreciate you guys being
Thank
online.
you.
Continue to stay in the chat as we go throughout our day.
And definitely stay tuned, right? We have so much more ahead for you today with our first ever hybrid World Council. Coming up next is a live demonstration from Copenhagen where you can cook along, like you've heard of sing-alongs. This is a cook-along, and you're gonna make Danish pastries. And somebody send me a sample. I'll definitely
I want to have the eating demonstration.
I want the eating part.
If we're gonna do this thing, like let's do it.
All right.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you very much. Thank you.